Well, by this point, I believe Invincible has surpassed Fiona and Cake for the single show I have talked about in the most videos, as I've now covered every single season in some capacity, and they're really cranking these out. The newest season of Invincible, Season 4, has premiered with 3 episodes on Amazon Prime, and it's already blowing up the internet as usual. Season 3 was a pretty impressive return to form after a fairly disappointing sophomore performance, and with this 4th season, things are leveling up. New antagonists, a growing rebellion, and apparently hell. It's a lot for the series to take on, and I have been worried about Invincible losing its touch with simplicity as it progresses. Let's see if that's happened yet with Season 4's premiering trio. We're basically going to divide this into episodes 1 and 3 separated from 2, given that 2 covers an entirely different side of the universe. Spoilers will follow for the show, but be warned that I am not a comic reader, so I will be theorizing about where things may go, and I'll probably be wrong. Let's get into it. First, we gotta talk about Mark, because this guy is not okay. He's taken on this emo, depressed personality, and if I'm being honest, I really like it. The levity sorta got ripped to pieces after the double whammy at the end of Season 3, and we see Mark in a very angry, isolated state. He has gone full throttle on eliminating threats for good, since he talks about it with Cecil, and later straight up murks an innocent man. This progression for him is something I can really appreciate. I expected them to backtrack a bit, but they didn't, and I like the divide it creates within the Guardians as they analyze his decision. He's become much darker and more violent, though he's not entirely wrong. The fact that he got rid of the Flaxons as well is much appreciated, because they were one of the many recurring antagonists that I could just not stand. I'll be fascinated to see him reunite with Nolan, given how much both of them have changed after they've last seen each other. Speaking of the Guardians, Mark's killing of the Flaxon leader inspires a move from Robot and Monster Girl in the 3rd episode to try to eliminate the Thraxons. Yes, incredibly similar name, but this is a different alien species that has been showing up randomly for 4 seasons now. Despite how annoying I find Robot a lot of the time, his pragmatism being overridden and him being outcast from the Guardians team after defecting last season has made him a lot more intriguing to follow. Him and Monster Girl actually end up failing and becoming trapped within the planet Thraxa, and from what I've heard, I believe this will last a while, which is a good and bad thing. It's good because, to be honest, we have too many characters, so getting rid of 2 for an extended period of time lets the show breathe a bit. However, this now leaves the Guardians with the absolute worst roster they've had in the entire show. Britt, a guy we just met, Black Samson, someone who should have died in Season 1, Bulletproof, a character who's taken 3 seasons to get a single personality trait, and Shapesmith, who's just getting annoying by this point. If they don't bring back one of the previous Guardians we actually know, like Ray, Immortal, or even Kate, this could get real boring. Another boring thing is Episode 3, the not-so-grand return of Titan and his band of supporting characters. Usually this is Episode 5, but I imagine things are really going to heat up too much by then, so they have to do this sub-story now. But really, they should have pushed it out of the show as a whole. The thing is, I've never really disliked Titan himself. His first appearance is one of the best episodes of that season, and he's a generally pretty normal dude that doesn't get on my nerves. He really just doesn't deserve a fully devoted episode in every season. I expected only cameos after his story basically ended in Season 1, but he just keeps getting these tiring appearances, and nothing ever changes. Mr. Liu returns in this one, a character that no one would have minded dying in the last season, and almost no progression occurs. Titan hires Mark and Oliver to kill him, they don't, and then he escapes. They do end up both on Machine Head's roster, who's really the only redeeming quality of this plotline, but that just means that this bullshit isn't over, so I can't even be happy about that. The best thing to come out of the Titan story is some pretty cool action sequences, and Mark beating the shit out of Titan. That was pretty satisfying. In the same episode, Eve's losing her powers story comes to a head when we find out that she's pregnant, something that has been causing big-time divides in the fanbase. Quite a few people don't like that Eve is being reduced to Mark's girlfriend and being given a very tropey female lead storyline, and while I can understand that, I don't think we've reached that point yet. We only just learned about this, and they could take it in either that direction or a more creative one that tells us more about Eve as a person. Robert Kirkman's been pretty consistent about making Eve the grounded hero that has a mostly normal life beyond the suit, and it's good that that's kept up. For now, I'm cautiously hooked by this premise. That brings us into Episode 2, which is the Nolan and Alan journey, and is frankly absolute fire. It is far better than the other 2 episodes, and gives us a massive lore dump on Viltrum. The backstory of the Scourge virus, which has wiped out almost the entire race, was wild to watch unfold, and getting to see more of the society beyond just fighting, despite the fact that they still do a lot of that, was fascinating. It felt like watching a movie of its own. Alan says this in the show, but I feel the need to restate how crazy it is to have me feeling bad for Viltrumites after all that we've seen them do. The pure devastation of these scenes had me shocked. It's even better because of the unthinkable soundtrack choice for the Scourge virus, being Anne von Hausswolf's Ugly and Vengeful, the best song from one of my favorite albums of all time. Somebody on the team was cooking with that one. In the present, Nolan and Alan's adventures are just super exciting to watch. Nolan is probably the best character in the show due to his complexity, and him attempting to be a good person while Mark plummets further is a wild dichotomy to see play out. Plus, the bond between the two is just entertaining and sweet. Look at my little mass-murdering psychopath, he made a friend. All the apology tour business can get a bit repetitive, and it is weird how basically everyone forgives Nolan as soon as he just says, "I'm sorry." And did they really have to do that bit with Alan fucking his girlfriend 6 times? But the ending brings it back to peak. Thetis, leader of the rebellion and traitor to the Viltrumites, reveals that he was behind the Scourge virus to Nolan, and reasonably, he doesn't take it well. This scene was intense. Of course, we root for Thetis and against the Viltrumites, but Jesus, after seeing how bad it was on Viltrum, you understand how angry Nolan is. This is the guy who killed his dad, and he's going to have to work with him to finish what the Scourge started. This is a defining moment for the show, indicating that the tides of morality can change at the drop of a hat, even with how purely horrific the villains are. Hell, Conquest went through this, and so did Thrag. Imagine how they'll feel when they find out what Thetis did. We meet Thrag in this episode, by the way, but just barely, so I'm going to save talking about him until he's relevant. Same for Dinosaurus. Anyways, I don't often return to episodes of this show, but I'll give you the Grand Tour is definitely one I will go back to. It works on its own, and works great in the context of the show as well. That wraps things up pretty nicely. So far, episode 2 is by far the best, but episode 1 was a nice premiere as well. The 4th episode will be Herm, one that will surround the newly introduced Hell subplot, and this one will either be one of the best of the entire show or a disappointment. I'm hoping for the former. Right now, what I'm most interested in is seeing how the mental battles progress from here, and some returning characters. I missed Shrinking Ray in these first episodes, but I trust that she will return given the acknowledgement of her in the Season 3 recap that Episode 1 started with. The more confusing missing cast member, though, is William, who's usually around most at the beginning of each season. Where's William? Mark needs a friend right now, and I miss William. Well, we'll see how things pan out. Goodbye now.